Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Welcome you here today to my humble abode, although you guys cannot see it because we've got the background on, which hopefully, although this will remain my humble abode, hopefully we're going to have a new office pretty soon, or at least that is the plan. I can get into a little detail on that. I'll talk to you about that. Normally, this is where I welcome a podcast guest, where we interview somebody, and we're not doing that today. We're doing a monologue today, and we've been doing this for a little bit. I've been doing a monologue, I guess, at least one a year, sometimes two a year. And I'm really trying to figure out if I should increase that. I don't know. I haven't really had much feedback, so feel free to give some feedback. Message me, email me, text me, call me, get on the website, fill out a lead form, and let me know your thoughts. I got a little encouragement from the last time I done one where somebody said, hey, I just enjoyed you kind of getting on there and just riff a little bit. Just chat through sort of like your thoughts on what you're seeing in the industry. And, that's the cool thing about having the platform is you get the opportunity to kind of address the listener one-on-one, so to speak, which has kind of been awesome. It's been kind of fun. So while I'm much more comfortable interviewing somebody, it gives them a chance to talk, gives me a chance to think and be quiet and try to ask good questions that you guys would want to know the answers to. It's probably my most vulnerable moment is actually getting on here and doing these as an individual. So first things first, why are you hearing me? This is Monday. Why are you hearing me? The first reason is we take ownership of everything that we do at the podcast. It's been our brand. It's been sort of what we've built ourselves on, and that is full accountability, full transparency. The reason you're hearing me today is because we did release Susan from the Monday episode. No hard feelings, no fallout or anything like that. Susan's great. She's welcome back anytime as a host, as a co-host. She's welcome back to be on any episodes. She's a powerful person that really cares about the industry and really cares about you can tell those that she works with and things like that. So she's super personable and really just an overall awesome person. And we still work together. We're still very much affiliated, but we did make the hard decision. And we made the hard decision. We weren't, we just weren't getting the episodes. And I think that's got a lot to do with like a good example of what opportunity will do for you. And Susan has as much as anybody in terms of opportunity, and I'm super happy for her and proud of her to be able to do that. But between the feedback and just the lack of listener base or whatever it might be, and sort of our struggles, we felt like we had a due diligence to you, the audience, to make sure to put things out timely and to create content that creates a good listener experience. And what it boils down to is we just had to make that decision. We did. So we take full accountability. So, if you don't like it, you don't like the decision that I made. So, moving on, that's real simple, real easy. Still love Susan. Happy to still be working with her and happy to have her on anytime. She's been great. We even bought back the equipment, and we're even going to work on a new show host. We're going to take our time a little bit more this time and kind of vet the process and try to, set clear expectations just in case we didn't meet that we didn't set any clear expectations. A lot of you guys probably don't. You probably figure, hey, you just hop on, do a podcast. It's real simple. Typically the content you guys are seeing is like 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. We've got, I don't know, today's October 29th, and I've got show content till January 1st right now for the Wednesday show. So like we try to stay way ahead. We schedule people in to do the auditing, the editing, And there's just a whole network of people working behind the scenes that you guys probably don't see. In fact, there's 4 people who work full time with just the podcast side. Me, Deanna, my wife, my son Troy, which many of you guys have met, and then actually my daughter Aaliyah is working part time. She's putting in some full time hours sometimes, but she's working part time, and we consider it full time because she brings a grandbaby over, and so we get to spend time with her. And that's something that I haven't even addressed yet. I should address that. What my plan is there. I'm really wanting to write a kid's book. So I'm letting the cat out of the bag here. I've been talking about it for a year, but I really want to do something for Cece, my grandbaby, Cecilia Rose. I want to write like a little Shed kids book because I feel like that would be fun. And I feel like others in the industry, especially children, they would just get it. They would love it. Whether their dad's a shed hauler, selling sheds, building sheds, whatever it is, we just try to make it fun, make it something interesting that hopefully you guys would enjoy. And what a cool thing to be able to sit down with her and read a book that we're kind of writing about her that I hope that she'll enjoy. So cat's out of the bag. We want to try to get that project done. Guys, there is never a shortage of ideas. I promise you, there's always something more to do. It's just a matter of being able to cast the vision and then also create the systems and processes and integrate that idea into a reality and bring it forth in a way that everybody understands it. And I say that all the time. And that's one thing I didn't put on my notes. I got all my little notes here, the things I want to talk about for today. And one thing I did not talk about was creativity in the shed industry. And I felt like we should address that at some point. So maybe I can come back to that. New show host, so the plan is to focus on a Monday show. Hopefully we can get this launched as early as January 2025. We'll be going into season 5 technically. So we didn't start this on the calendar year back whenever we started in 2021. I wanted to get this out in January. It didn't get out till March. So technically March 2025 will be the start of our 5th year for the Shed Geek Podcast. But we've got Wednesday lined out. A lot of what we're doing is kind of established, talking about sales and marketing, just interviewing people, getting different stories, product lines and things like that. Really, really heavily shed-centric, shed-focused. Sam is doing the Friday shows, doing an excellent job. He's brought, advertisers to the table. He's brought listeners to the table, some that I couldn't have got on my own. And he's just overall just a really good dude. And he's been taking care of Fridays, obviously with a focus on hauling, which is sort of like a niche for him. But Sam's really so much more than just even a representative of shed hauling. He is, he understands the sales process. He's just a larger than life kind of guy. We pulled up to the southern Indiana Shed Hauler Barbecue at Cliff Net, the one that they put on up there. And the first person I heard was Sam. The first person we saw was Sam, and he was loud. And me and my wife laughed on our walk all the way up there. And my wife said, you could really just sell your silhouette and people would know who it is. Like a little Bigfoot statue or something in people's yard. Get a Sam Byler statue. Honestly, though, and I don't want to steal his thunder because I think he's doing a couple of monologues, and I really don't want to steal his opportunity. But I mean, just looking at his heart and what he's doing on Facebook, seeing who Sam is, it's a perfect example of like, we're all flawed. We're all not perfect. He'd be the first to say that. But I mean, look at what he's doing. He's raising like $300,000 or something like that to help families in North Carolina and Tennessee. It's just really, really, truly amazing. And it'll never happen because I really don't play the lottery. So it'll never happen. But if I ever did win or found a ticket, I promise you, all I really want to do is hire Sam to go do these jobs, all over America, because it's obvious that's a big part of his heart, a big part of his ministry. And I can't say enough for him. And what he does is really awesome. And that's the thing. There's a lot of good people in this industry. And some of the guys that are just dropping thousands of dollars on there, offering to haul them, guys giving up sheds, major discounts or free or whatever. Like, look, that goes beyond anything that a podcast could do, a sales industry could do. Like those are from the heart. And they're great projects and they're a great ministry. And I couldn't endorse it more, encourage you guys to get behind it. So again, without getting into the details of it or stealing any of his opportunity to present that to you guys, I just want to say, public thank you for him, what he's done, how he's done it. And, he's been a welcome addition to the show. I think I said before, his show still, whenever he was a guest, was the number one most listened to episode. And that tells me that you guys want to hear from him. And now you can by just simply going to Fun Fridays every Friday. Listen to Sam Baxter. And, we hope to have him on for a long time, should it work out. We really, really appreciate him and the value that he brings to the table. And the content he brings is really good. And he has a crowd that just follows him everywhere. And it's pretty amazing. Moving on. So obviously you guys know that we jumped into marketing. I even asked a couple opinions before we jumped into it. Some that said, it'll never work. People in the industry just don't understand marketing. Those guys are doing marketing now, by the way, and I'll tease them about it. So I don't mind to call them out publicly, but I won't. Here's the thing. It's not that marketing doesn't work. Yes, we are in a conservative industry. Yes, we are in a somewhat an industry that's a bit tech insufficient in the sense that they didn't grow up with tech. A lot of us didn't. So here's the thing, though. What we've done, and I don't mind giving my secret away because it's also a strength and it's an asset for us, and that is that we took Dylan and me specifically, Dylan Street. Many of you guys have seen and know Dylan. Awesome guy. I really want to brag on him quite a bit. But what we did is we took a long-term customer acquisition approach to marketing. What I mean by that is we weren't just getting on to simply just price shop, or try to get those who are price shopping. Somebody who comes in and says, oh, you can do some Google ads. How much does it cost? This, that, and another. It's like selling a shed. I really wanted to take the time to have some conversation with you. If you just simply came in and said, hey, the guy down the street's got a 10 by 16, it's 5,800. How much is yours? And I'm going to buy it based off of that. We've taken a longer approach at saying, sit down with us, talk with us, call us, fill out a submission form on our website, shedgeek.com. Contact me, info@shedgeek.com. Contact Dylan at shedgeek.com. Message one of us. And let's get on a Zoom call. Let's hop on a video chat for about an hour, and let's let you ask all of your marketing questions in the broken language in which you understand it. Because the biggest problem is feeling like you're calling to ask for something, and you don't really understand it well enough, and the person on the other end just makes you feel worse for not knowing it, not understanding what SEO is in great detail, not understanding how a website is necessary in today's digital storefront. Like, what are you doing with building a digital storefront? For those guys that can't, they can't offer up a website because whatever reason, we understand that. We're not trying to convince you to do it. We're just trying to tell you why it works. Should you choose to do it? And if so, we'd like to throw our hat in the ring at the opportunity to be able to build you a website. But then how that leads into all your tags and tracking opportunities through Google, through Meta, and to the point to where you're running ads and, video. There's so many more things that we can go into. You hear enough about that all the time now. I figure if you have questions, here's something I will point out. And this is really exciting because we're starting to really see some big accounts, like huge accounts in terms of marketing in the multi-millions, which means, that changes a lot of stuff for you. It changes your budget for your account. It changes your ability to invest into sponsored ads, what your ad budget might be. So it's like this big whole conversation. So like for some people that are like, well, we want exclusivity. We've not really went down that road because we've kind of focused on the budget being the winner, if you will. We're not going to like do less work or more work for someone. We're going to do what you're getting paid for. So anyway, without giving too much of that away, feel free to call us. The point I'm trying to go on like those larger accounts is it's a lot easier to work with a manufacturer in marketing who wants to sort of franchise their digital storefront from Facebook to, their website to ads, getting a better SEO value out of that. Because when you have a large model that's kind of like, consignment dealers of like 300 dealers, and each one of those are an independent contractor going out creating their own brand. In other words, if I were doing like consultation for the dealer, I would say maintain your own brand authority because you're a 1099. However, you got to remember at a consignment situation, they're bringing you $100,000 to $200,000 in free buildings. So like this is not a floor plan. So in other words, you're not paying for it. You're not purchasing the inventory. So if I was consulting the manufacturer, I would say maintain as much authority over your product as possible. And there's a lot of value in that actually works to the dealer's benefit if the manufacturer's on and then they're willing to submit to that. It actually creates a lot more value for you in the digital storefront, which is today's age. And we could just get into a lot of that detail. Where am I trying to go with that? Long story short, we get a lot of calls from a lot of dealers. We're really trying to work on a program because that's one of the hardest ways to help you in marketing. From a budget perspective, we always encourage 4% of your total revenue. And for a dealer, that can be very hard. I mean, even trying to sell other products, I'm on the board with ShedHub, and one of the things we talked about is pricing as a good example. That $400 price point initially was, to me is a little bit steep after being a previous dealer, but that $40 price point it's money. It's right on the money, like $480 a year. If you get one sale, you broke even. If you get two sales, you're already in the black. And trust me, the SEO value that they're providing is better than anyone I've seen in the industry still. So like they get in front of people. It's really just showing you guys how you get in front of people. And that's really something that I think that they're working heavily on right now. I don't mind giving those details away. Dylan and Wyatt specifically, CRM implementation. Wyatt is a boss on this. I mean, he is just doing a phenomenal job. As a matter of fact, we're automating the process whenever you reach out to us at Shed Geek, whether you're asking about finance, rent to own, marketing, we can automate those processes to get you answers quicker and get it to the right person quicker. So that's what automation does, AI. That's what a lot of these tools do. You guys might be thinking, oh no, this is, an unfair advantage. Listen, you can call me anytime, 618-309-3648. I get calls every day, all day. It's all I do, spend time on the phone, video chats, and things like that. So you're welcome to call anytime. We're not trying to eliminate the process of real-time user, like I'm available, Dylan's available, Wyatt's available. We've just figured out how to work this system to get you the information as quick as possible. So when you go and you fill out for information, you're going to get an immediate response, and it's going to prompt someone to call you. Like it's increasing efficiency, it's increasing systems and processes. So anyway, rabbit trail. Dylan is what I'm referring to as a generational talent. I didn't even know he possessed this talent until really the Lord brought us together on a mutual project of trying to build a faith-based drug and alcohol center in our community, which is still something that I feel very tasked to do. And I hope that eventually I can make enough money to be able to do that. But that's how we connected. He started in the shed lot where we were selling sheds, and then really blew up. And this guy's just done amazing. As a matter of fact, most people have come and tried to offer him a job or hire him away. And I'm super happy that I found loyalty in Dylan where, I haven't always found that. And he's been great. Him and his whole team, just really amazing. you will not go wrong getting to know him more, and Wyatt, and then really the whole team over there, David, Nick, Nathaniel, everything that they're doing. It's just really, it's I can't wait till we can start getting video infiltrated into the industry, because I don't think it's used near enough. And I think you guys would really appreciate Nick and what he does. Some of you guys have seen that, the Shed Challenger. It's a good example. We built that website, did some video for them. If you're curious about their work, go check that out. Really exciting to see those guys come on board, because I think competition's healthy, although we're super excited as well that Cardinal's a sponsor now on the Friday episodes. We're, been talking to Steve and those guys for years, and just super excited to really see where it's all going. But anyway, I'm maybe 3 or 4 down on my list of 20 things to talk about, and I'm 20 minutes in already. Dylan and Wyatt, just can't say enough. Super excellent guys. You will not go wrong. 40 plus clients at this point, and we haven't lost anybody. And I would encourage you, we encourage those who are using our services to promote that you do, because if somebody's looking to get information from you guys to find out, hey, you know how this goes. Like, hey, we was thinking about switching over to these guys. We was thinking about using them, but we want to know your experience. We encourage you to talk to people that we work with, because we are full transparent. We want you to get the real deal from them. We want them to tell you how they really feel, the things they like, the things they don't like. And we want to know those things too, because one of the worst things about the shed industry is if there's a complaint, there are, and this is probably all industries, this is probably just people, is they'll complain about it, but not to the source. So like a perfect example, Embark, great company. They have given us leads in terms of like podcast and things like that. They've just been excellent to work with. We know that they are a great company. We've interviewed them here on the podcast. They're welcome to come back anytime. Great guys over there, James, Charles, Chris, they've just been good people. So a good example is this, if we get somebody call us and say, man, Embark's stinking it up. We really want to think about switching to you guys. We would not embrace that because we know that's not true. They're a good company, and our fear would be it's just a matter of time before you're unhappy with us too. So maybe, there's some educational segments there that are missing, but typically speaking, we know that no one's going to come from that company because they're doing a bad job. If they were to come over, hopefully it's because they see that we're providing some kind of service or opportunity that they don't, but we're generally pretty apprehensive on most of that, because they are just such a good company.
Hi, I'm Dylan from the Shed Geek marketing team, and I want to address a common misconception about marketing. Often people approach us for just one service, like social media management, where we plan and schedule your monthly posts. While this is a valuable time saver, it's just one piece of your complete marketing strategy, much like a shed with its various components. Let's simplify it. Think of your social media channels and Google My Business as the foundation, similar to the runners of a shed. They support your digital storefront, your website, which is like the floor joists and band boards. To enhance your marketing, you'll need tools like Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, and Google Tags, which are like the walls. These tools help track the success of your campaigns, measuring form submissions, 3D shed creations, and phone calls generated by our ads. Now, let's talk about the roof. Meta and Google ad campaigns. These are the top layers that complete your marketing shed. While you may inquire about one specific service, remember, they all contribute to the overall structure of your marketing strategy. At Shed Geek Marketing, we're happy to work on one individual aspect, but our goal is to build a comprehensive marketing shed that will truly stand out in the digital landscape. If you're ready to talk about your marketing strategy that will take your shed business to the next level, just go to shedgeek.com and fill out a submission form or contact the Shed Geek for more information.
Deanna and Troy want to say super thank you, because they're probably going to be, one of them's going to be, or maybe even Aaliyah is going to be editing this episode. And I don't say it enough that they are, Deanna runs the show, man. Deanna, since coming to work over here with me, has added so much value to the podcast in terms of like bringing her skills to to the table as an implementer specifically. You know, she kind of keeps us all in line over here. She's the office manager, and she puts everything on the schedule, gets everything done, from editing, you know, Sam's videos, you know, Susan's videos in the past, the future videos, and what we're hoping to do there, which, by the way, I never did focus on. That is going to be a carport steel focused podcast on Mondays. If we can get it launched by January, that's the hope, is to really branch into the first cousin of the shed industry, which is the carport and the steel building side. So like, we really want to bring some heavy content focused on that area. So look forward to it. Hopefully it'll be great. I think it will be, because I know the guys who are going to be doing it. And I think it's just going to be really good. Back to Deanna, Troy, Aaliyah. Love you guys. Thank you. You're not just family. You're great to work with too. And that's always scary whenever you work with your family. We actually love it. As a matter of fact, when I talked about the beginning of this, we're looking at a new office. There's it's like a, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 square foot church here in Metropolis that is abandoned. And we're actually looking at purchasing that for the purpose of future growth and putting offices in there, getting our offices out of our house. Because currently we travel in the RV. Many of you guys have seen us while we're out and about, or we work from home. And some of our bedrooms serve as the office, and we're trying to get out of that. So the spare bedrooms can be turned back into maybe a room for the grandbaby or something. But we want to get in this office because we're just seeing growth. We're seeing opportunity. We see some cool things ahead, some things we think that we might be able to do, maybe creating an actual podcast studio, which is really hard because then I got to ask people to come to me. And we're just so willing to travel to those people, but maybe we can do a mixture of both. That's the plan. What else do I want to address here? Shed Expo, Shed Business Journal. Thank you. Super big thank you to those guys for allowing me to write in the magazine. I'm super thankful to be able to come to you guys, not only on the podcast, but come to you and my thoughts that I can put down in writing. I hope you guys enjoy that. I've had good feedback so far. Really awesome to see you guys at the expo. It's going to be in Knoxville next year. I can't wait. Writing in the Garage Shed Carport Builder magazine as well, Gary Reichert and those guys, appreciate them giving us that opportunity. And look forward to seeing you guys at that show as well. We just try to support everything in the industry, including all the Shed Hauler events and barbecues. We can't always make it. I feel so bad about not being able to make it to Texas. It's been several years in a row now. It's the only one I haven't been to. We've been to J.D. Perry and Travis Parks and Melody Troutman's out in Oklahoma, Cliff Knapp, in Indiana. Oh gosh, where else? I don't know. Utah, North Carolina, Georgia, the Southeast Georgia, like all of them. Like we've tried to make it to all of them, support them, and when we can, we give to the cause. RTO and finance. Let's address those things. Yes, we jumped into RTO. When the show launched 4 years ago, I was in Renton. I was a rep. And one of the reasons that I started the podcast was because I was on the road, and sometimes it's hard to knock on doors and get in and sort of introduce yourself. And the one thing I realized is early on is that this industry was a relationship-based industry. And that's great. I'm not knocking it by any means. I think it's awesome. But rent-to-own's a highly competitive world. Our marketing segment is not nearly as competitive. Like, we usually don't run into other marketers very often. It's fairly rare. So I feel like we're still bringing awareness in the marketing side and education. Rent-to-own, it's been around for so long, and it's highly competitive. I mean, you guys know this. Most people don't want to switch away, and if they do switch, it's only for an added benefit or feature typically, or now you got these dealer premiums. There's really so much you could talk about. I want to continue to do more episodes on that. When we jumped in, we kind of expected to lose a few advertisers. We did. We didn't think we were going to, but they switched up, and I get that. I'm okay with that. I didn't really get any negative feedback. I will tell you, without getting in the weeds, I got one negative feedback, one negative comment that said that have changed the trajectory of the podcast from being educational to more self-serving. One, I want to remind you that I was doing this whenever I started. I got away from it, but I had no issues with coming back to do this. We all have to make a living. Two, what was more interesting is that although this company manages contracts, they called me a competitor, which I think is interesting, that they wouldn't see me as a potential client initially, as opposed to a competitor, which kind of, also told me things I needed to know. Listen, I'm just going to be transparent. If you're a competitor in marketing, if you're a competitor in finance, if you're a competitor in rent to own, I can't be any more clear on this. You are welcome on the show. You are welcome on the show. Tired of hearing the little rumors about, couldn't get on there or can't be on there. No, never true. Not true. I don't care who you are, from the biggest to the smallest. You're welcome on. As a matter of fact, I highly suggest it if we compete, to come together to have conversation that is, even if it's difficult, as long as you do it with class, as long as you do it with morality, it makes for a better listener experience, and it actually extends, in my opinion, the goodness of the industry, to be able to come together. So, what about advertising? Of course, if you compete with me, fine, advertise. I can't win them all, guys. I don't know how to be more clear on it, but I don't want to let manipulation win out. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying, not going to let it win out. You're welcome on the show. You can come on the show. You can discuss difficult things. I'll answer difficult questions. I don't mind. I think that hard conversations have to happen for growth to happen. I think when you avoid conversations, I'm not, I'm not a fan of that. I'm just a fan of transparency, and let's talk it out. Even if we disagree, let's disagree publicly. I'm fine with it. I'm a big boy. I can take it. Some of these companies are amazing. I mean, some of these companies are bigger than we'll ever be. Like, I don't know how to be more transparent on that. Like, I don't think we have a growth trajectory or desire to be that big, maybe even. So it's one of those things where I'm like, it's for the user experience and the best user experience. So with RTO, I love that it's competitive. It is frustrating at times, but we tried to create a unique product by offering our dealer premium that so many of you guys are familiar with. And what we did was we figured we would just outservice everybody. We would create, we would take that same percentage and apply it toward your marketing. So if you're looking for free marketing, there's a perfect way of possibly getting that by just working with us on RTO. That's a competitive advantage that we created. I'm seeing some follow suit. That's fine. It's no problem. First mover's advantage doesn't stay for long. We have to go out and be creative and come up with a new idea. It's the same as whenever people say, what if somebody starts a podcast? Well, what if someone starts a podcast? Like, good. I hope they do well. And matter of fact, if they do better than me, then I need to improve. I like to think I know the audience. I feel like I know what you guys want or like, just listening to the feedback. But if you're happier listening to someone else, then like I need to improve or maybe move on or whatever it is. Like, I just don't get the mentality of like ownership. Like, or exclusivity. Like, I can do this, you can't do this. That's not me. I welcome any of you guys to be involved in whatever you feel led to do. Finance, perfect example. You guys are familiar with J Money. I'm super happy to be partnered with Joe, using the upgrade partnership. We've brought on, I don't know, maybe 15 clients or so far to the finance side. So if you're interested more about Shed Geek Finance, that's powered by J Money. Ultimately, that is a upgrade product. I really looked around, and I feel like that's just the best product currently in the industry. It was servicing tiny homes. It can't now. We had to pull that because of some disclosure issues for primary residency. But man, if you're looking as for an alternative for those customers who are 680 FICO and above, why not? Why not sign up with a program, go through the process, and have a solution for customers who come in? There's a reason I went down that road, is because I really feel like with the competitiveness of RTO, people were going to kind of gravitate towards that finance sector. That's what they're hoping to see. But as you guys know, not everybody is a finance client. There's a lot of RTO clients out there, and it's just a matter of understanding the process well. I'm not saying we do, but we feel like we do okay. We're learning. What I'm probably most surprised at, and this is maybe more vulnerable than I want to be, but I'm most surprised at is the value we've been able to bring to the table from the podcast through networking. You said, what do you mean? Lines of credit through banks. Those who want to invest in the program. I think you guys know my story. I was on with Jonathan Ulrich about 3 years ago, and I said, the podcast was worth like $60,000 in total value or something like that. It's amazing. The other day I asked for $8 million in RTO investment. I didn't get it, but I asked for it. Guys, that's a place I would have never been, and I still kind of am amazed at myself for like being able to just put my head down, nose to the grindstone, and go make these things happen. So it's been super exciting. So we focus a lot of our rent to own on private investment and not bank loans because that market is volatile. In some ways, we do have a line of credit, but we really don't like to use those. I can get into the details of it, but again, it's just full transparency. It's not hiding anything. It's not, it's amazing to see the growth that we've seen in that sector, not even really looking for major growth. So I'm really excited about where the future goes with that and being able to find new investment opportunities. And hey, holler at me if you guys are in the neighborhood, and that's a conversation that you want to have. It's really odd asking people for millions of dollars, but I've somehow gotten a knack for it. And anyway, moving on. March 5th, start a 5-year. I think I told you that. And I just wrote down here, believing in yourself and pushing forward. This kind of, almost maybe segues perfectly from the RTO conversation. Whenever I started this, I had no idea what to expect. I also think it's fair to mention, not to, overcast a negative tone to the episode here today, but I think it's fair to mention, and I don't want to get into the weeds on this because it's a catch-22, there's a no-win situation, but the podcast was not co-founded. It was founded. Does that really mean a whole lot? No, I just don't want misinformation out there. It was founded. It was co-hosted. And then I'll just leave that conversation there. There's no reason to expand on it any. But I will tell you this. It was a leap of faith, and it was a leap of faith that I took that I really felt like God was in the decision. Not just in it, but leading the decision. Matter of fact, I feel like the moment he tells me to get out of it, obedience is greater than sacrifice. I've said that many times on the show. You have to listen. Right now, I feel like we've got a good trajectory. Another 5 years of doing this, hopefully, if I can, hang up my hat after 10 years of podcasting, that's pretty amazing. That's awesome to get on here and have conversation that you guys would tune into and listen to. I can't say thank you enough. I don't feel like I'm deserving of that enough at all. And I probably never even addressed it. And I don't want to on a large level. Again, it's a catch-22, but how much do I love the podcast? 3 months in, I was offered $250,000 for it and I didn't take it. I had $7,000 in it. So just in case you guys are wondering how much I enjoy it, how much I like it, and how much I wanted to do what I felt like I was supposed to be doing, I turned that down, and it ended up costing me quite a bit of money actually before I started making money. So I genuinely enjoy this. I can't say that enough. I would love to do more podcasts even outside the shed industry, and I'm really praying on God to open up those doors. It's been 3 years now. I've been praying on that, and it hasn't materialized, but that doesn't mean it won't. So I just want to give you an encouragement. There's been so much in 2024, like I feel like conversations I've had with people that are just like wrought with negativity or downtrodden, or, this is a terrible year in sales. So like we had to close up doors. We had to do this. We had to do that. There's just so much angst. And I don't know, we're at the height of political season and all that good stuff. But, I just want to encourage someone today that, like, if you are sensitive to the Holy Spirit, if you are in prayer, and if you are listening and you feel like you know the direction that you're supposed to go, you're not going to get all the answers in the moment. That's why it's faith. That's why you step out into faith. I can't say enough over and over and over that I do not deserve this opportunity. I do not deserve it. I do not feel like if you would have picked me out of a handful of people that I would have had the opportunity to have a platform to speak to you guys. And I'm so thankful for it. And I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to do anything that would even have the appearance, of evil or messing something up, or however you want to say that. I don't want that. I appreciate you guys. It's been great. It's been great. A great 4 years, and it's fed my soul on a level beyond what you guys know in terms of purpose and finding purpose and things like that. So I just want to encourage someone today, step out in faith. If you're thinking about doing something today, it's totally worth it. 41 minutes in, opportunities. I can't say enough about the cool things that have happened, the job opportunities and all that. I thank every one of you guys for that. I really feel like, and unless God moves me out of this, I'm not going to take any of that. I'm just staying right where I'm at. It's awesome. Thank you. But I'm going to stay in the lane that I feel like the Lord has me. Suggestions. I want suggestions. Always suggest. Don't ever hesitate to. This show is as much yours as it is mine. It speaks to the industry in which you love, in which you work, what feeds your family. Email, text, call, get on the website again, fill out a form. And, I welcome suggestions. We actually didn't have much time. I put it on Facebook and said, hey, does anybody have any suggestions for this monologue? I would love to address them. We had a podcast cancel or reschedule for later today. And basically, I didn't have time. Here, let's get on this. I just got back on. So, James Lynn, with you being out and about in front of a lot of people, I'm sure you get asked a lot of things. Has the nature of these questions changed much since you started? And if so, do you have any reflection on where it was to what it is, to what is a common thought to many currently, and possibly a glimpse into your magic 8 ball of what you think the hot topics are in the future? Has the nature of the questions changed? James, appreciate you, buddy, and the blog that you wrote and just communicating with you regularly. Yeah, maybe. So initially 4 years ago, I think I'm still seeing the, like, what are you seeing out there? What else do you guys experience? What do you see when you're on the road? I'm pretty transparent with that. Finance, marketing. There's a reason I got into those things, because I kind of felt like I could look into that magic 8 ball and sort of see what people needed. Yeah, good question. I don't think that they've really changed much. I think people are still looking for answers. I think that we need to go to a new level. I mean, I've gotten contacted by different services, like a CPA service who wants to do some exclusive, rights to really address the industry and sort of use the podcast to launch that. There's some lumber manufacturers that have sort of come to the table, big guys. And I'm just trying to think a lot of those things through, how that not only do they make me look, but how does it benefit the industry, right? Because I have to put the industry before myself. So good questions. I'll get back to you on that. And let's see, newsletter. I can't stress enough. I probably need to quit saying I can't stress enough. I feel like I say that a lot. But the newsletter, if you're a industry professional, it just seems to me like if you were in cars, if you were in motorcycles, if you're into guns, like, and that's what you did for a living, you'd want to learn everything about it. The newsletter is a good place, along with the Shed Business Journal, Garage Shed Carport Builder. If you're looking for resources, if you're looking for advertisers, Sam's got, VersaBend on there. We got Cardinal, we got Challenger. I'm super excited to have a plethora of opportunity in 3D configurators, especially how they relate to marketing. Great relationship with James Price and his team over at Shed Pro and all the different things they're doing. Idea Room gave away $1,000 in Shed Geek marketing at the expo. Can't say thank you enough for that. Winners of that, Jason and Stephanie Smith, a former client of mine down in Campbellsville, Kentucky. My Shed, Matthew Black, what they have built over there. You should really take a look at the depth of that process. It's really a lot. Shed Suite, obviously, Jason Graver's a leader in what he's done, and he's just been a great person to work with and alongside Cal, Tristan Klesick, they even built the POS for Shed Geek Rentals, so I endorse them completely. Digital Shed Builder. Oh man, those guys have been great, new to the process, and just what a great graphic and, vision for really what they want to do. So, I mean, like, there's just so many good friends, so like, it's really hard to I've struggled with probably having so many of these guys good friends that I can't really jump into that exclusive bubble, or haven't yet. And I don't know if I ever really will from our marketing perspective, because there's a lot of guys that are really doing a lot of good things and doing them well. And it's exciting. I mentioned a lot of the advertisers. Liftify, Zach Garrett, you guys heard the episode. If you didn't, go back and listen to it. Reputation management, reviews, and what influence means. And I'm trying to hurry this conversation up because I'm getting long-winded and 47 minutes into this. Whenever you ask for a review, you're essentially asking a customer to suggest your services, because people might tend to take the suggestion of a stranger who purchased your product or service and had a pleasant experience than if you, as the company, promote your product or service through marketing. And what I mean is, we all possess some level of influence. It's why you tell someone who bought, hey, tell all your neighbors, because they're going to trust that they had a good experience. That's as good a salesperson as anybody ever would be, is a satisfied customer. So I can't, tell you enough. Go check out these guys, Liftify. They're the real deal. They're doing a tremendous job. They were at the expo this year. You will not go wrong. Tell them Shed Geek sent you. Any of these guys, tell them Shed Geek sent you over there. Hey, sometimes it might make me $1. Sometimes it might just make me a friend, but tell them that we sent you. We're supporting these guys because they're supporting the industry, and we really try to take a close look at what they do and what they do well. And we even do some consultation that we don't even charge for, just to kind of, get through your process and what you're trying to do. Products, the product lines like LuxGuard. I'm doing an interview today with Solar Blaster fans. You guys remember this guy from season 1, Dan Ream. I'm saying his last name totally wrong, but Dan Ream, or however he says it. Look, go check it out. Go to Solar Blaster fans. Don't just look at it. Don't just hear it. Go and try and figure out, why are we not, when we say we're building a quality shed, why are we not adding features and benefits and products to the shed that add for a better user experience ultimately, which is what we're going to talk about later on the podcast today. That's just so important to me. The Zula system, my buddy Erez, Identigrow. If you're not plating your sheds, why not? That is one of your best sales tools whenever you're not there. People see the shed. I can't say enough. Identigrow has really owned that space. Great people. LuxGuard, added features and benefits help sell sheds. It's about the consumer. It's about the end user. It's not about you or what you want to provide. I'll get away from that. I'm 49 minutes in. State of the podcast. What is the state of the podcast? It's really simple. We're going into year 5 in March. We're hoping to have a metal representative on the Monday episodes. I'll continue to do Wednesdays. I can't foresee that changing in the immediate future. And Sam's going to continue to do Fridays. We have talked about, if that goes really well, could we put something out every day of the week and expand? Yeah, we could. I mean, the truth is we really, really could. for those who say, well, it's too much content, I can't take it all in, we don't expect you to. We don't expect you to. We're putting out content, and you take in what you want. I'm no Rush Limbaugh, but he was on 5 days a week, adding political content to, your for discourse in your circles and all that. We're just doing this in a niche down industry, and that's what a podcast is. It's not a broadcast; it's a podcast. It's a niche market where we're really focused heavily on it. But beyond sheds, you guys know that it goes into the metal, the post frame. It goes into the carports, the furniture, gazebos, chicken coops, all these other things. So if we can add value, we don't expect you to listen to every show. We don't expect you to listen to any show. We hope to provide good value, and the value is good enough that you want to listen to it. And if we become just an everyday part of your process for an hour each day, great. That's awesome. If not, and you say, hey, I clicked on this one and this one's not for me, I totally get it. I have some favorite podcasters I listen to, and I don't listen to every episode. So we totally get it. There's no expectations, but we may expand in the future. Things that I'm eyeballing, and this may come back to James Lynn's question. Things I'm eyeballing, James, I'll tell you, I don't even care to give this away. And that's creating possibly some kind of online sales process at some point. One of the biggest things that we've experienced, even in marketing, is bringing leads to the table for unqualified sales managers or salespeople. So what we've done is just help them out by giving them advice, suggestions, consultation. But man, what an opportunity for somebody out there right now to understand how to work a CRM if you're getting 100 leads, 200 leads, 300 leads, 1,000 leads, and you're not able to keep up with them or follow up correctly. If there was a team out there, and there just may be, I think there's a few people in the works working on this currently. So I don't even know if we're first mover advantage. We may be fifth mover. I'm not sure, but creating an online sales process for those who are like, hey, I just want to build sheds. I don't want to be drug into the world of CRMs and SEO and online sales and all that good stuff. Great opportunity out there for somebody right now who can actually manage that and do it well and create the systems and processes necessary to do a good job on that. State of the industry is the only other thing I had. And, if you got in during COVID, you're probably disappointed right now, but this is the real world now. And this is where, people are looking for sales. And I give all the credibility to the builders for being amazing, the shed haulers for being the hardest working people in the industry. I do. And you may disagree with this. It's just my position. Nothing happens without a sale. You can build all you want, but you can't haul nothing until you have a sale. And you could probably say, well, you can't sell anything you don't have built, which I would probably disagree with, but nothing happens without the sale. So like a heavy focus on the sales process, education, learning more about not just product knowledge, but how the sales process works, the marketing process works, combining the two, recognizing that a company that's $60 million a year has a totally different sales and marketing strategy than a company that sells $2 million a year, which probably you wear both of those hats. Trying to figure out, where you want to go, creating your business plan that's unique, that's set up with some benchmarks. I mean, all of these things, super important. I can't say enough about putting your nose to the grindstone and just getting it done over this next year. Sales has ebbs and flows. You guys know this. There's ups and downs constantly, and it will bounce back. So if you're having a bad year, you got to set your business plan up in such a way that you can hang in there until it comes back around. That's about it. I don't really have any grand looking to my magic 8 ball, as James says. I don't have any grand knowledge or something to give to you guys. We do talk to a lot of people, so we feel like we're not just talkers and podcasters, we're listeners. We listen to what you're saying, and that kind of determines our future as well. We've grown in opportunity beyond what I ever expected. it seems to continue to grow, and I'm thankful as long as the Lord has me on that path. Yeah, I can't say enough other than I'm content, and I've not always been able to find a level of contentment in my heart, and this industry has really been a big part of that. So, even if the podcast falls off, if listeners quit listening, we hope that doesn't happen. We try to focus heavily on the content. We're not flashy. It's just we are who we are. We are the definition of being ourselves and being unique. And we all believe that we are built unique. And this is just the approach that we decide to take. I appreciate this being a cowboy boots and blue jeans kind of industry for the most part. For those who aren't a fan of that and think it should be more dignified, I hear you, I understand, but I feel like that's who we are, what we are, and I don't necessarily see it changing quickly or anytime soon. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for giving me your ear, the opportunity to even come into your homes, your radios, speak to your family, any of that. The messages we've gotten, the friendships we've built has been really, really exciting. I don't want to ramble too much longer. Just appreciate you guys and hope this hour was worth your time listening. We're still a fan over here of prayer at the podcast. So if you guys don't care, I'll pray. And, I just want to say thank you with a true heart of gratitude as we end this close to this fourth calendar year, almost the fourth season of the Shed Geek Podcast. So, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity, the platform. Let me always be mindful to encourage those who would tune in to listen to me, to listen to you, that you are ultimately sovereign, and we have all that we have because of you, and nothing because of what we've done on our own. And we're thankful for that. Ask that you would continue to guide us, give us wisdom in our words, give us wisdom in our body language, give us wisdom in the way that we speak, what we say. Let us know when to speak up and be bold and fight, and let us know when to be quiet and be meek and be mindful and peaceful. I thank you, Lord, for my family. I thank you for this industry. I ask that you continue to bless those that listen, and Lord, bless those that don't. Bless the industry and your people as a whole. We want to see good. We want to see increase. We even want to see increase for our competitors. We want to see increase for our so-called enemies, Lord. We know that they are ultimately your children, and that you want what's best for us and what's best for them. So we're thankful to be able to pray that prayer today. Keep a close watch over the industry. Those who are struggling financially, those who are struggling with vision, those who are struggling with understanding, forgiveness, any of those things. Just ask that you would be a light to their path. Show them the direction, the steps they should take. Help them to be sensitive to the words and the wisdom of the Holy Spirit to guide them, lead them, direct them, and do that in all of us, Lord, as we move forward throughout the day. I thank you so much for continuing to see any value in me, although I feel I continue to fail or let you down. I'm thankful that you would give me the chance to speak to so many people and just really find a heart of contentment through this whole process. So thank you. And thank you, Shed Industry, for all you do. I'm hoping that you have the best 2025 that you've ever had. Amen. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry if I seemed rambly on this one. Maybe kind of in my head a little bit doing a monologue. It's a lot easier whenever you interview somebody because you can be quiet and think. And I have to talk and think at the same time. And I hope you saw the best in me. And I certainly hope you guys continue to listen. I hope it was worth your time. Appreciate you guys always. It really means so much to be doing this.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and it's coming up on Thanksgiving. And we just want to say thank you for listening to the show, and thank you to all the guests.